Ogres are like onions. Onions have layers, ogres have layers. You get it? Maybe you don't get it because you've never watched Shrek. That's why I want to quickly explain to you what's going on with this metaphor and why is it a great thing to understand in order to start your self-discovery journey and answer the question who you truly are. So in the movie Shrek, the main character is an ogre, and he's trying to explain to another character that there is more in being an ogre than just a superficial layer of his existence.
For your information, there's a lot more to ogres than people think. Example?
Because people view ogres as disgusting creatures that only cares about killing people.
Ogres are like onions. We both have layers.
I think that people are like onions as well, and in a sense like ogres. Your personality is made of a lot of layers, and usually we cover our true self with layers like wanting to fit in. So in order to not feel left behind, you start to pursue the similar things as your friends or co-workers or anyone. It can be expectations of family, society, culture. It can be even your weird ideas of how you should behave to just find your place in the world. And when you start to ask a question of your true identity, it is a start of the process of taking those layers off. And for me, the beginning of my self-discovery journey was when I realized that my whole life vision and the big dream that I had turned out as a concept that I told myself into believing. I thought that at the age of 22, I will be married already and planning a kid. And when there was nothing entirely wrong with that plan, I never really wanted that. But I also didn't know what I want, and I saw that, well, it might work for some people, so I can also try it. And after my high school relationship came to an end, I just realized, wait, I don't really want that stuff. So what I'm gonna do about it now? And this early stage of self-discovery, it might be confusing because then you start to ask questions, at least I did, that, well, if that was not true, what is really true? This is my whole life a lie? Is like everything I believed in turned out as a big lie? What should I do about it? And then you're getting confused, and it's very complicated because you are aware that there are some layers to take off, but having a very blurry vision of your true self doesn't help, because then you start to notice all of these expectations and you might feel overwhelmed. Which leads us to a stage 2 of our self-discovery journey, which is distancing. Because in order to start to hear your voice and actually develop a relationship with yourself, you need to find a way to distance yourself from the expectations of others and opinions, and try to create like safe space for yourself to just build a connection. And it's not an easy thing to do because it requires us to be alone with our thoughts. And there was one study made that most of the people don't really like to be alone with their thoughts, and they prefer to get electric shock to avoid those kind of situations. And taking Shrek as an example, he lived in a swamp by himself his whole life. And it gave him an opportunity to define who he was without the external views on him and external opinions of him. And you don't have to distance yourself in a sense that really like going to the swamp and isolate yourself from other people. But what is very important is to find the moments that you are with yourself. And I feel like a broken record repeating this over and over again, but I really do find journaling as a powerful tool to discover who you are, and as well meditation or mindfulness practice. But at the same time, when for some of us keeping a journal and meditating, it's a completely efficient way to build a self-awareness, for others it might be helpful to seek guidance from a therapist or a mentor or a teacher. But I do believe combining both of those stuff, like building a self-awareness on your own and getting the guidance from the therapist, it is a great way to gain this distance from other people's expectations and decisions. It's worth to find the way that works the best for you. And actually at the end of this video, I will give you some journal prompts in order to help you in the process of defining who you are. And after you will start to create a space for yourself in your life, I think it's worth to follow inner curiosity and start to question the things that you are doing, which is leading us to the next stage of self-discovery. So you know yourself the best, and after you will start to unravel the layers of the onion that you are, there will be this like inner voice that will lead you to the things that you are interested in. And if you are thinking that you're not a very curious person and that you are not interested in anything much, probably your attention goes to the wrong area. And it's really worth to try new things, especially the things that you know that you wanted to try for so long, but you were looking for all of the kinds of excuses to not do it. But if you don't know what you want, well, you can try to make a bucket list of the things that excites you. And this is a cue. Like, try to think about things that excites you. And if you don't have any idea what you want and any idea who you want to be and any idea about anything, try to create the anti-vision of your life. So who you don't really want to be, who feels like least it's you. And from there you have a cue from what you should take a step back and what things can you avoid. And when making decisions, try to think like what my true self would do, what feels like me. Like try to like question, like when you're doing something, like try to ask a question, does it feel like me? Because accordingly to scientific research, when people are using a true self as a guide in order to make decisions, it leads to improved satisfaction from the decisions that they made. And what is actually the most important thing in our life and how we perceive life and how we experience reality is how we feel. This is like the most important thing. Our mind is just like filtering everything, and the most important thing is actually to feel good about you and yourself and your decisions. And it leads us to the last stage of self-discovery, which is acceptance and trust. Because when you start to test new things, do new things, and expand your perception of yourself, the results might be surprising, because it might turn out that the thing that you always wanted to do doesn't feel that good. It might turn out that you started to do something that you didn't expect will align with you, but well, it kind of clicked. And a very interesting concept during that stage of self-discovery is that being your true self is not about a plan or the things that you're doing, it's about how you feel about the things that you're doing. So it's like more as a feeling, it's feeling like being balanced, it's testing new stuff, doing stuff, and just checking in with yourself if it feels like you. And it's important to let go of all of the expectations, but because when you will learn how to let go of expectations of others, it's very common to put your own expectations on yourself, that you need to behave this way, that you need to do those things that you wanted to do. And for me, it was when I started to travel, and I had this like very big dream that I want to travel and I want to do this and everything. During traveling, of course, it was fun, but I was like, it doesn't feel as much as I expected. It doesn't feel as much as me. And I could go to the rabbit hole of just like identity crisis, but instead I realized the importance of just accepting that, well, I changed, my values can change, my plans can change, everything can change, and as long as it will feel aligned with me, it's okay, because it's my life and I don't need to prove anything to anyone. And it's such a powerful lesson to understand that who you are is just a fluidity of change, and you are constantly changing. And as I promised, here are 3 questions for you that you can journal about or think about in order to build a connection with yourself. First, identify the layers. Identify what is the superficial layer of your existence, how people perceive you, you know? Then start to just dig what might be other layers of you, who you are. Try to think about the things that could define you if you would want to just define the core version of yourself. And the third question is that how would you like people to perceive you? Getting to know yourself better goes hand in hand with developing a positive mindset and better approach to yourself. So to learn that, you can watch my video right here.